Welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Russ. And this is episode 173. 173 in the virtual Nerd Basement, guys. Welcome once again.
I'm in the Nerd Basement.
To the Twitch. You're in the Nerd Basement, yes, but this is our virtual one. Now that as we continue to observe social distancing during this crisis in our country right now. And I shouldn't say that sarcastically. We are going through something pretty serious, but we're also seeing some really ridiculous shit during this crisis. Like, oh my God, politicos being called Nazis, and people screaming that their civil liberties are being taken away and their freedoms, and oh my God, give it a rest. One of my friends was like, "Do you really think things are gonna go back to the same when this is all over? Do you really think they're gonna give all those freedoms back to you?" Yeah, I do.
It's what we do.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're not gonna. This too shall pass, my good man. Unfortunately, this situation has, similar to what happened with the more recent, the current election. Well, what happened with the election? What happened with having this current president in the office? This situation is allowing me to see some of my friends' true colors when it comes to how they feel politically, and I got to admit, it's been a little disappointing at times. So, but we'll get through it, guys. It's what happens. What we'll do. What we do.
I figure everyone's got their own political beliefs. That doesn't mean we can't be friends. It just means there's certain things we probably shouldn't talk about.
Exactly. There are certain things that I'm just going to be like, you know what? Maybe we should just not talk about that stuff. It's just if we can still be friends, man, but. Maybe we should just, move on from that particular subject matter. I'm going to turn off this. I got to mute the old phone while I'm thinking about it.
Good idea.
Good idea.
Should have done that about 5 minutes ago.
Right.
So how was your week?
Well, it has been the same. I mean, it's... We are, like I said, Stella and I are doing our best to stick to what's going on with the whole social distancing thing. A lot of gaming, some drawing, some watching movies, and keeping busy, trying to keep busy, trying to keep from finding ways to kill the dog. Dresden has his days, man. I tell you, he'll have days where he'll just sit quietly and nap, or only bug us when he needs to go outside. And then there are days when he is literally sitting on top of me all day. Like, he just won't leave me alone. I don't. Yesterday was one of those days. But yeah, we're just kind of trying to get through it. Like I said, I think the biggest issues with me is anxiety, just wondering how long this is going to last. Mm-hmm. Everybody saw last week, Governor Whitmer did extend the stay-at-home order until the end of the month. So, a lot of people I know, or yourself included, are staying at home for work or working from home if they can. And a lot of people are collecting unemployment and getting extra unemployment because of this situation, this quarantine. I myself am. They upped my unemployment, and oddly enough, I'm making more money on unemployment than I do when I'm working, which is ironic, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we're talking about was, but people are going to make more money than they normally would have. Well, so what? For a little while, who cares?
Exactly. Also, they've talked about how the supplemental stimulus checks are going to be going out soon.
Yeah, actually, I
know a few people.
Mine is actually pending in my bank account right now. Yep.
Is it? Well, that's cool. It said haven't filed my taxes for 19 yet because I can't. I go through H&R Block, and but it said as long as you shouldn't have a problem as long as you filled one for 18 or 19, and I did for 18, so that's good. I just don't know what's going on because mine almost always go through because I go through H&R Block. They put it on an HR. They put it on a debit card through H&R Block. So I don't know if they're going to send it through to that account or what. But Stella did say that she saw that there's going to be a website you're going to be able to like check how you're going to be getting your check and whatnot. So
okay,
that could be good. So they're going to be putting a website up pretty soon. So hopefully we'll see that. Because I'd like to get that $1,200. That'd be nice. So and we're all supposed to get it. So it's good. How was your week?
It was pretty typical. Actually wound up gaming on Saturday. Normally that's the game where we do it actually at the tabletop over at my buddy's house. But instead of doing that, the guys, because most of that group is also in my online game, they all actually convinced me to go ahead and run my game for a second time. In the month. And so we wound up playing my game, my Roll20 game, and that was a lot of fun. Did a good job. We
cool.
Actually went longer than we normally do. We play from like 2 PM until like 7 at night, because we're playing with my buddy Steve over in Belfast, and that's usually like, I think this time of year it's about 11 for him, but usually it's like midnight. And this time I think we went till 9 o'clock our time, so like 2 or 3 in the morning for him, and had a great time though. He had stated that he was, because he checked in on in the Twitch stream last week, and he was saying that they're pretty much even more closed down than we are. So. But yeah, so other than that, getting ready for gaming this week because we got our game on Saturday, and then I've got that game again on next Saturday. So I've got 3 Saturdays in a row where I'm doing D&D. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I gotta I'm gonna be playing in a game with some friends over Discord. And we're going to use the Discord for the audio, and then she's going to put up the video on whatever she's going to end up using. I'm not sure, but like Thursdays, and these are some friends from Ren Fair. And the funny thing is, they're all like, I'm like the old guy in the group. I am the old guy in the group. They're all like in their like they're all pretty much in their 20s. I think maybe one might have just turned 30. And I'm like, ugh. All right, guys, I'll be the old guy in the group. But it could be fun. It's just going to be very like, it's going to be very drop in, drop out kind of thing. So we're all going to be like adventurers in some sort of adventuring, like a guild, like an adventurers guild, and we basically get grouped together for different missions and stuff like that. So I thought this would be kind of fun. I'm going to play a centaur, and he's a centaur. He's a cleric of Sylvanas, because I was like, well, you always need a medic, and I have a lot of experience playing clerics, and although I haven't played a cleric in 5e yet, so this should be cool. And he's going to be from a more remote area, so I was thinking I'd do a bit of a southern accent for this character. He's a bit of a hillbilly. I used intelligence as my dump stat, so he's got an 8 intelligence. I'm going to make it more. He is not so much stupid as he is just sort of uneducated, but he does have a 16 wisdom.
So what I was thinking is one of the ways that his wisdom is expressed is through various stories that have been passed down through the generations. I think it reminds me of a story that my grandpappy told me, that kind of thing. So I'm thinking, this could be fucking hilarious. Think Rose Nyland from the Golden Girls, and she would talk about her stories from Saint Olaf. And but it could be fun. I think it's gonna be fun. So, and then I'm looking forward to our game again too. We haven't played in quite a while.
Well, yeah, you haven't, because you've been in Florida.
Well, I missed at least two sessions.
Only one of which was actually the actual game itself.
Right, because one time you guys got together and painted minis or something, right?
Yeah. Well, no, we didn't get to. We actually did a one shot that I kind of made up right on the spot that tied into the rest of the adventure. So.
Oh, okay, right on. That's right. I remember you saying something about.
Yeah. It was a good time. That was last month. So this month we're going to pick up. So you really only missed the end of the whole stopping the bandits portion.
Right, where I was like tied up or something.
No,
right?
That was earlier. That was the other one that you couldn't make it to. No, you were actually. I think you stayed back in town for this one.
Oh, okay, right. But we're at third level, yes. Right?
Just hit third.
Okay, yeah. Well, like I said, I'm excited to get back into the game. It could be fun.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking? I'm going to tell you right now. Social distancing, blah 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 blah. Didn't get a drink, so I've got my old standby, my Pepsi and my blue glass here.
Pepsi again.
Mm-hmm.
I am actually drinking something that I got after all the shutdowns happened, because Bee Nectar is still open in their tap room to at least sell takeouts, and I got a crowler of one that I haven't tried before. It is called Orange Creamsicle.
I heard about this.
And I mean, it's just the plain glass or plain crowler can.
No, wait, no, that's a cider, right? Or is it a mead?
I think it's a mead.
Okay.
I can double check with Renee. She'll probably pipe in here in the chat room in just a second. But it is a very, very light yellow color. It is, I think it's 6% or 6.6%, something like that. ABV. It has some orange aroma. And that's about what I'm getting on the aroma. This one actually, I had two crowlers of these. I had one the other night, and this is the second one. And this one, it tastes similar, but it tastes a little bit different. I'm going to take another sip here. And while there's some of the orange aroma, I don't get a lot of the orange flavor. I get a lot of vanilla, though. There is just a ton of vanilla flavor, and which is good. But I like this, though. It's actually really good. I like it a little bit more tonight than I did the when I had it a few nights ago. It is a mead. She just posted in the.
Okay.
And it, but I do like it. It's light. Actually, it's not overly sweet. It's sweet enough, but without being like cloyingly sweet. And it has a good flavor, and a good blend. Like I said, I do like it. It's lightly carbonated. But yeah, I'd say I'll give this about 3.75 on the Untapped scale. It's pretty good. If you get the chance, head on out to Bee Nectar and try it yourself. Because this is one that I do not believe that they distribute at all.
Okay, cool. I've been meaning to head over to the tap room and maybe pick up a growler or something, a couple of things, because I'm just like, now that I've got a little more money, pick up some other things to drink.
Mm.
Speaking of meat, I wanted to touch on this one real quickly. Did you hear about the controversy of Black Dragon meadery?
Yes, I did, and that was something I wasn't sure if we wanted to talk about or not. But yeah, what an asshole.
I think it's just something we can address briefly, just because it's an example of toxic masculinity, for lack of a better term. And since we are a show that touches on drinking, and we're nerds with alcohol, for fuck's sake, I thought maybe it's just something to address. It's apparently one of the owners, I believe, of Black Dragon Meadery. It's meadery here in Michigan. It actually puts out some decent product. I've had a few of their meads, if I remember correctly, and they've got some nice stuff. Not near the size of Bee Nectar, but still a decent meadery. Apparently, this guy, his name is Paul Peterson. He just came off, did this huge rant, got really upset, got pissed off. My guess is maybe is unlucky in love or something. I don't know. But it started off on this rant about women giving out fake phone numbers instead of just saying no, they're not interested.
Well, from what I heard, it came from the John Oliver bit over the weekend where he gave out the number for the call-in Oates line, so you call up and hear a whole Oates song, and someone suggested that this be a number that women actually give out to like creepers that won't take no for an answer and are insistent that they get their phone number. They actually give them like the call-in Oates number. So and so he like went off on this rant about women being dishonest, and if you're not interested, just tell the guy to fuck off, and all this. And
then he started talking about how men need to be better and women need to be better, and if was it something when people started calling him out, he started like, it sounded like, it looked more like he was trying to defend himself without like backpedaling at all. And it was just coming off as more and more toxic. Well, if women feel threatened, then men need to be better, and it's your fault, and all this thing. Well, apparently, he did eventually, either somebody convinced him to do it, or he realized he was probably going to end up losing business because of this. He posted up a half-hearted, he posted up an apology on the Black Dragon Meadery page on Facebook that was basically I'm sorry you were upset by what I said kind of apology. It was not a real apology. It wasn't really, it's not like he was regretful from what or the things that he said. He just was like, no, well, maybe I could have gone about it a better way.
Yeah, it's the I have my beliefs, you have yours, and just because I'm sorry I pissed you off by expressing mine, which is not what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't him just expressing his. It was
he ranted. It was like, what set this guy off? So it just was something that I was like, I'm not saying like don't buy their product. But maybe take into account that what this guy says or whatnot. For to like to motherfucking entire company because of one guy, I'm not gonna say do that, but maybe take into account what this guy has said before you make a purchase.
I think they're gonna be fucked.
I think he specifically had apologized to the Ren Fair and pagan communities because I think he realized, oh shit, I just pissed off a lot of my constituents, essentially, or a lot of my customer base. I'm like, fuck, I better figure this out. And yikes, it was not great. So you could maybe research it yourself if it's still up. I don't think we're gonna put it up on the Nerds with Alcohol page. It's too much, but maybe check out Black Dragon Meadery and check out what this guy had to say, because it was definitely toxic. And check it out as an example of what we need to avoid. Because that level of hate was ridiculous. So if you guys want to check it out, it's out there. But anyway, I just want to touch on it briefly. So we should probably move on to a bit better, bigger and better and brighter things. What do you want to start with?
Well, we've both watched the Onward movie.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about something lighter, well,
talk about lighter.
Although it is kind of sad.
It's sad, but it's. I mean, honestly, if it doesn't bring at least a tear to your eye, you're made out of fucking stone, man. I mean, it's been really dry and dusty in my house the last few days. I just don't understand it. I mean, a couple of times I've been watching movies lately, and my eyes just start watering uncontrollably, and I just don't understand it. First when I was watching Onward, and then the other night when we were watching Coco, shit.
I actually haven't seen Coco.
It's really good, man. It's really, really quite good. It's all about family. It's all about like a relationship with your family and stuff like that. And
now for Onward, do we want to get into
which is also about family?
But do we want to get into spoilery stuff? I mean, it's only been out for a couple of weeks. I mean, it was in theaters for a week before everything went to hell, and then it's only been out for like 2 weeks on Disney Plus.
We'll maybe give it another week before we do a full spoiler review, but we can do our initial feelings on it, I'd say. Well, first of all, I thought it really hit home for me as a D&D guy.
Yes.
It's a long time. If you're a long time D&D fan, you will probably get a big kick out of this movie. In the movie, one of the characters, the brother Barley, which I found to be a funny name for a guy, Barley. He is a big. He's a big D&D fan, but in the world. The world is basically a world where it's a fantasy world, but it's in a modern setting where magic was a thing. Magic was kind of hard to master, so they discovered technology, and technology was easier and became a way of lighting your home and heating your food and things like that. And so the world has progressed to a point where the magic is gone, or at least at the very least is pretty rare. And Barley is a big fan of basically a form of D&D that is couched in the idea that it was based on real historical.
Yep. It's a historical
event.
War game thing.
Yeah,
which is funny because that's what D&D started off as.
Right, exactly. It was built from the I guess the formula of wargaming, and using little miniatures to represent armies and whatnot. So anyway, his younger brother is turning 16, and it's Barley. And what was the kid? The main kid's name, was it Ian?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and Barley is voiced by Chris Pratt, and Ian is voiced by Tom Holland, Spider-Man. So we got Spider-Man and we got Star-Lord in this movie together. And anyway, so they Ian is turning 16, and their mother. It's revealed early on that apparently their father passed away. He got sick. They don't say why or how exactly what it was, but he got sick and he passed away. And Barley was very, very young, and Ian never got to meet him. And so their mother, who's this strong single mom, decides she's going to give them this gift that she was told by her husband to give them when they both were over the age of 16, and it's a wizard staff. It's like an old wizard staff, and a spell that will allow them to bring their father back. And this is all in the trailer, so we all know this. To bring their father back for 24 hours for a visit. And unfortunately,
magic is hard.
Magic is hard, and that spell particularly is hard. they needed a special spell component with a phoenix stone, which is a phoenix gem, which is put on the top of the staff. And Barley tries to do it, but he can't do it. He can't do magic, apparently. So, but Ian has a knack for it. So, but Ian messes up and only brings the top half or the bottom half of their father back. And so now they have to go on a quest, which is incredibly awesome for Barley. They have to go on a quest to find another Phoenix gem so they can complete the spell before the 24 hours is up and bring their dad back the rest of the way. And they, throughout the time, hilarity ensues. And it is a really, really cute movie. Like I said, there's a lot of Dungeons & Dragons references. Speaking of centaurs, there was a character.
Mom's new boyfriend.
The cop. Mom's new boyfriend is he's a cop and he's a centaur.
Colt Bronco.
And, Colt Bronco. And it's funny. It's interesting too because like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but in their adventure and whatnot, they definitely are able to spark a little more magic in the world, and that was pretty neat. But yeah, Colt Bronco, he's voiced by, if any of you guys watched Last Man on Earth, he's voiced by the character of Todd, who is like the second Last Man on Earth. And so that was, I had to look him up. I went, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And Elaine from Seinfeld plays the mom.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus, thank you. Da, 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 da. So it's really funny. They go to meet. They go to this manticore.
She's fucking hilarious.
She is fucking hilarious. She's like somebody. She was someone that people always got quests from, and she had this great big sword and all this other stuff. And you go to the Manticore's Tavern, and they go there and to meet with her, and she's turned it in. Yeah, where quests always start at the Manticore's Tavern, and they go there and she's turned it into like a family restaurant. You know, it's just
it's like a medieval times type of restaurant.
I'd say more like almost like a Chuck E. Cheese kind of place, because at least there wasn't even
That's
jousting
true.
or fighting or anything. It was just it was more like Ferrell's or Friendlies or whatever when we were kids. That was really funny. She kind of like figures out. She's, my God, what have I been doing with my life? And
but yeah, it's all about family and learning to come together and see the differences, but still know that you're appreciate them.
Appreciating what you have with those family members, and it was really, really. I loved it. I thought it was really cute. And like I said, if you're a big D&D fan, you're gonna get a kick out of it and stuff. I liked the biker gang.
Oh, the Pixies, yeah,
the Pixie biker gang.
Well, I loved his van too.
It was really fun. Ah, yes, the Guinevere. Put it in O for Onward. Put a little piece of tape with an O over the D and for drive. And I loved that it had a fucking Pegasus on the side. That was great. I mean, the van was really a character on its own itself, and it wasn't like it didn't talk or anything like that. It just was. It was more than a vehicle.
Well, and Barley's got that cast on his arm the whole time, and
I was kind of wondering.
He's got a D20 drawn on the cast.
Yeah. I really would have liked to have known what happened, how he broke his arm, or wrist, or hand, or whatever it is, because he had like a forearm cast. But a lot of us have those gung-ho family members that are so passionate about something, and it just becomes really embarrassing, and he's definitely one of them. And poor Ian, he's just this nerdy kind of kid, doesn't really have any real sense of himself, and he's got this overbearing older brother. So that had to have happened to a lot of people, actually. There's got to be a lot of people that can really associate with that too.
I'll say this: my brother actually saw it in the theater, and texted me afterwards and said, the one character actually reminded me a lot of you. So,
what, Barley? Yeah, okay.
Well, he had the jacket with all the patches on it. And...
Right. Yeah, he was a bit of a metalhead type. He looked like he would have been like the kind of guy that would listen to, Metallica and Slayer and the really loud on their van stereo.
I never had the van. Always wanted it, but never had it.
Oh, anybody our age wanted a fucking kick-ass van like that, man.
Yeah, my buddy's parents had one. The whole side thing with the port windows in the back, and it actually had like the table with the bench seats in the back of it, and the shag carpet all the way up the sides, and the table would fold down, and it made like a flat area like a bed, and we told them, if you ever want to get rid of this, just let us know. We will buy this van. They sold it without ever telling us.
Oh, no!
And we both confronted them, and they're like, "You thought we were going to let the two of you have a fucking van? No. No, that was not going to happen." The fact,
make yourself a shaggin' wagon.
The fact that they let us drive around in it was enough when they had it. But yeah, when they got rid of it, they're like, "Oh, fuck no. You guys don't get that."
That's funny.
That was the van that we actually had up to 110 miles an hour going down 696 on our way to our SAT exams.
Jesus Christ. In a van going 110 miles an hour?
Van Dyke and Groesbeck. We got on at Van Dyke, hit 110 by the time we got off at Groesbeck. For those of you...
It's like 2 miles,
For those of you that don't know, it's about a 3-mile drive.
Yeah, that's maybe 3... You are damn lucky, man. Back then, the speed limits were still like pretty low.
55. We were passing people. We actually passed someone that was probably doing the speed limit at the speed limit. So we were double what they were doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's literally passing somebody like they're standing still. Man, it's funny. I made this new friend. I think I may have told you about him down in Florida. My friend Kevin, and he's a van enthusiast. And he actually took the pictures. I don't know if you've seen them, but I put a couple up on my Facebook but it's tagged on them on Instagram. I did this, did a body paint of a dancer one of the last, right before I left town. And her name is Tylee, Texas. She's a traveling feature entertainer. And so we did this like green wood nymph kind of body paint, and he took the pictures and stuff, but he's a van enthusiast, and he's only like 32 too as well, and he's got a tricked out fucking van, old school van, and it's not tricked out like it doesn't. He definitely needs to get a mural painted on the side. It was like, do you think you could do it? I was like, well, I could, but I'd have to buy a whole different set of paints, and I'd need, you really need to use enamel paints for that kind of thing, and but I wouldn't want to fuck it up. I haven't done something that large scale. I wouldn't want to fuck up your van. He's got shag carpet on the inside, like blue shag. It's a sky blue van that's kind of like a shimmery blue, and then the interior is all like a kind of a sky blue or various blues. Like I said, the shag carpet is blue. It's really fucking funny. He took me. We went for a ride, and that thing has some balls. He got it up pretty fast on the freeway too. Like, I don't know if it's got it's just got a pretty powerful engine in it. I'm not a car guy, so I couldn't really tell you exactly, but it was pretty fucking funny. So, but anyway, moving on. Back to Onward. It's a great movie. We can go into some greater detail next week and talk a little bit more about it. But it's great for the kids. There's nothing really scary about it. Maybe at the end there's a final battle, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's overly frightening. So like it's good for the kids, and it is on Disney Plus right now, and you can still actually also rent it through Amazon Prime if you don't have Disney Plus, and it's a lot of fun. Really great time.
Speaking of other movies too, did you see that Trolls, the new Trolls movie, opened?
I did
I've not
see
seen it, but did you see that it opened as like the highest grossing VOD movie of all time?
Yep, I did see that. Why? You know why? Because there are millions of children.
There's millions of kids out of school
that are out of school, and that their parents are like trying to find shit for them to do. Here, oh god, a sequel to the Trolls movie. Here, kids.
I'll pay $10 for that.
Yeah, because the first one was actually pretty well received. I mean, the first Trolls movie did pretty well, and I would imagine that this one is also going to do pretty well too. So, I'm not going to watch it.
I didn't watch the first one. I don't plan on watching this one. So,
I have zero interest in watching Trolls. So, I got to admit, the metal troll that they've shown in the commercial, because they're all for those of you guys who haven't seen the commercial, you probably have. It's been everywhere. They have to go on basically a quest to meet all the other different trolls from the different styles of music, different types of music out there. And there's one that she's like a heavy metal troll. That looked kind of funny to me, but. Yeah, I have zero interest in seeing those. Like none.
Now, what I would watch though is what Saturday Night Live did last week. They did a whole show from their homes and stuff. But one of the things that they had was they had an animated skit, and I have to say there are a few times that Saturday Night Live really hits it right the fuck out of the park, and this was one of them.
Well, I'd say they do that a lot. It just depends on. I mean, there's some casts that are better than others, and
but this one, middle-aged mutant ninja turtles.
Their best years are behind them.
They're all sober now.
Yeah, they're all sober now. Oh my god! I laughed my fucking ass off watching that.
Drive their spoiled kids to school.
You see, I think it was Donatello. He's sitting there and talking to his doctor, and his eyes are getting wider and wider, and he's scared. And then you see, okay, well, we just saw it's just a benign cyst on your spine. And he thought it was like he's waiting for it to be cancer. Oh, thank God! Yeah. It's Raphael trying to borrow money from Leonardo.
Did you hear about Shredder? He died. Should we go to the funeral?
Maybe the wake.
Not the funeral.
Probably not the service. Yeah. Oh man, they open up their shirts or whatever. They're wearing Under Armour.
They're all wearing Under Armour. Yeah.
Oh,
and they did the whole theme song too. They just redid the whole theme song. But yeah, that was.
Can I borrow some money again, Rob? I gotta stop betting on golf. I don't even watch it.
Yeah, yeah. I was laughing my ass off on that.
If you think you're getting the kids, you're crazy. You're crazy. Fucking, of course, Mike and April are together. That's funny as fuck, too. Oh my god. Yeah, honestly, I didn't realize that they had done the show all from their homes. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I might go back and watch it on Hulu because
I watched the opening monologue because who are they going to get to host the first show that's done like not in the theater and all that?
Yeah.
Tom Hanks.
Oh, was it Tom Hanks? Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he does.
Tom Hanks, he's up there as one of the highest number of hostings.
He's hosted more than anyone
something
else.
Like that.
And he's
up there a lot. I mean, Steve Martin. Steve Martin might be up there too. I know he's up there.
Well, Steve Martin was on the show
I remember
for a long time.
Well, no, he was never. Steve Martin was never officially a cast member. He was always a host.
Alec Baldwin has actually hosted the most.
Oh, okay.
Which I knew he was way up there too.
Remember the Five Timers Club?
Yeah.
Yeah, that skit when Tom Hanks joined the Five Timers Club, and you had he was there with
Tom Hanks
with Steve Martin.
I didn't realize that.
No, but it was Steve Martin and Elliot Gould and I think Simon, Paul Simon, a couple other ones. It was you're in the Five Timers
Steve
Club.
Martin is second. Alec Baldwin has hosted 17 times.
Jesus. Well, that's the other thing, though, too. Alec Baldwin was a cast member for for at least a season, because he was the dude that was always Donald Trump.
Yeah.
For 2 seasons, he was an official cast member. Well, but yeah, he has hosted. But yeah. He has hosted a shit ton of times.
Yeah, he's hosted 17. Martin's hosted 15. John Goodman is third at 13.
Yeah, I knew he was up there too. I knew he was pretty high too, but I couldn't remember.
And then Tom Hanks and Buck Henry have hosted 10.
Buck Henry hosted a lot in the early days. So, wow, that's crazy, man. But yeah, Tom Hanks, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are people that say negative things about him, but how can you hate America's granddad? I mean, the guy...
He made a crack about being America's dad even more after he got the coronavirus. Because, then people didn't want to be around him for very long, and they... he was making all sorts of jokes like that.
They're calling and they're not visiting.
Yeah, so he made this whole thing. He does the whole thing where he, walks in from his kitchen and stands in, the doorway to his kitchen and does his whole opening monologue thing.
You know what? I'm gonna have to check that out later on tonight. Maybe that's funny. I've been keeping a pretty vampiric sleep schedule lately, and I'm trying to. I got to try and get back to at least a little more normal. I'm a natural night owl, and I've often said that. But staying up until dawn and then going to bed and then sleeping till 5 in the afternoon is probably not a great idea. For when I go back to work, Yeah,
so, one of the things, I mean, I may be working from home, but at least I'm still working, so it's keeping me on that normal schedule. I get to sleep in a little bit because I don't really have the commute, although I do have to go into the office on Friday.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, today I got up at noon. All right, a lot better, a lot better. I was a little sleepy today, but I went to bed at 4 a.m. and I got up at noon, and, if I can keep at least on that, so when I finally do go back to work and have to be to the studio by 9, it won't be as bad of a transition,
Well,
but
so on from that, so with
anyway, but before you guys check it out. We put it on the page if you didn't see it already. Middle-aged Mutant Ninja Turtles, really, really funny. And apparently, I don't know, check out Saturday Night Live from home. I mean, I think I've said before that that this situation is changing the way we do things, and it's making history. Yes. And we're seeing history. This is the greatest. When Whitmer went on TV on a commercial, basically, our Governor Whitmer talking about how this is the greatest health crisis of our lifetimes. It's true. It is. It's the biggest thing we've ever dealt with. Beyond, yes, they've talked about the AIDS crisis or things like that. That was we never had a pandemic. So this is American history. So things like Saturday Night Live being, broadcast as a home kind of thing. Seeing Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon doing their shows from their houses instead of from the studio. This is kind of history making. So check it out.
Yeah. So in other news, I saw this today. PlayStation has what they're calling their Play at Home initiative going on. And
Okay.
what that is they're encouraging people to continue the social distancing, stay home, play video games. And as part of that, they're actually giving away for free a couple of older games, but they're well, at least one of them is one that I actually own, which I'm kind of sad that I own it now because otherwise I could get it for free. But it's the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection, so it's Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, all three of those.
Yeah.
And as well, right now, I guess Uncharted 4 is part of PlayStation Plus, so you can even play that for free at the moment.
Yeah. And honestly, those games, if you've never played them, a lot of fun.
Yeah. They're like an
good
action puzzle type game.
Action puzzle platformer kind of game with shooting and, shooting and killing. There's some not first person, but
Third person.
Third person over the shoulder. It's the acting is well done. They're beautiful games. They're challenging to the point of being fun, but not and being challenging, but not over the top.
Not overly frustrating.
Not overly frustrating, right? Exactly. You're not going to need to you can put it on the standard setting pretty much the whole game. I don't think I ever in any I played. I think 2, 3, and 4. I don't think I ever played the first one.
I finished the first one, finished the second one. I haven't played the third one yet.
Yeah. But yeah, in fact, actually the PlayStation I have is the Nathan Drake PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's the Uncharted it came with Uncharted 4. It's but they're really
Vader PlayStation.
Of course you do. But yeah, it's the kind of game that you can enjoy watching other people play. I remember the PlayStation I think it was the early PlayStation 3 commercial, or was it the PlayStation 4 commercial? No, it was the PlayStation 3 commercial where this guy is where they always had the PlayStation helpline that you'd call into, and there was a guy the guy was addressing callers and stuff, and the one guy was calling in, it's like, hey, can you help me? My girlfriend thinks that Uncharted is a movie we're watching. and he's just like, man, enjoy that. If she's enjoying it, play on, brother. And that was the thing. It's very cinematic, and just also kind of integrates historical kind of stuff too. There's a lot of history involved, and or legendary kind of history. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so check it's that out. Game, that set of games, and there's an adventure game that was originally out for the PS3. I guess it came out and looks like 2012. I had to look it up because it's not one I was familiar with, but it's called Journey, and I guess it was a critically acclaimed adventure game from back then. But that's also going to be available for free. This begins tomorrow, April 15th, and runs until May 5th. So you've got those about 20 days to pick up these games if you want them. But they should be free in the PlayStation Store. I think there might be a code. I don't know if there is or not. Maybe not. No, I don't think there is from what I'm seeing here. So yeah, it looks like you can just get them free in the PlayStation Store for the next 20 days.
Very cool. I mean, I would probably you'd have to do some pretty serious gaming to try and get through all 4 of those games in a month.
But these are you permanently get. But they're not just. They're not just for those days. That's the time where you can get them for free.
And download them.
But once you download them, you have them forever.
Well, wow, that's fucking cool. I didn't realize. I thought maybe it was like the PlayStation Plus where you basically play them for a month and then
or whenever they decide to take.
But that's cool.
Yeah, because Xbox Gold does the same thing with that. Is they'll have games that are out for a month or so and or whatever. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of playing it and you go to play it and it says, nope, you don't own this game. You can't play it. Which it's nice to get that try in that sample of it, but when you play it for a couple of months and then all of a sudden they take it away, it's like, oh damn.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I just buy them, man. I mean I play games that I am fairly certain I'm going to like. Speaking of games, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That was actually the next thing
came out
the
Friday.
next thing I was going to talk about because I own it.
Okay, well,
I got it Friday.
Okay, well, what do you think so far, man?
I haven't played it a whole lot. Renee's played it a lot more than me. She's been staying up like way late to play it, and
well, get her ass over there, and then she can review it for us. I know she's just sitting over there.
She's not sitting anywhere near me. She's upstairs. But she just poses all exclamation points. She loves the game. She says this is like one of the greatest games she's played. She loved the original. So this right here is like the game she's been waiting for the last 10, 15 years. So
20 years, man. It's been like fucking 20 years since that game came out. Yeah. So yeah, people, that's what I've been seeing, the posts I've been seeing online lately is people saying that, like, it's a game I've been waiting 20 years for, that it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's the way any game that's going to be remade should be remade.
I'll tell you what,
like
I started playing it, and I've only played like a little bit at the beginning, but it is honestly one of the most beautiful games I can remember playing. I mean, it's right up there with Horizon Zero Dawn in a different aspect. Horizon Zero Dawn was great with the landscapes and all that stuff. This one is all, it's like cityscapes, and the blending of the like different eras is really kind of cool, because there's like all this like sci-fi stuff, but there's also like cars that look like they're from the 40s.
Right.
Because it's not quite diesel punk, because it actually is more like sci-fi, but some of the technology is older. So it's really kind of cool seeing the mix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they said 23, so I believe it's 23 years.
23 years, yeah. I mean, that's incredible. You know, and it is. Final Fantasy VII was the game on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, that kind of changed the game. So we use that term a lot when it comes to certain things, but it took Final Fantasy from being, a pixelized kind of game to the 3D, 3D modeled, animated 3D animated kind of game. And even though they were still kind of very cartoonish and whatnot, people have a lot of really strong feelings about it, about like the relationship between Cloud and Aerith and Tifa. And I mean, people have been cosplaying some of these characters for God, since before you actually, there was a term cosplay. Mm-hmm. I'd say particularly Tifa. Tifa was one of those female characters that you see a lot of cosplaying of. And from what I understand, this game is not even the full game yet.
Oh yeah?
It's only like the first third, I think, or something like. It's not the whole game. You don't get all of Final Fantasy VII on this disc. I mean, I could be mistaken, but I heard that it's not the full game, like, but they did add in some stuff that wasn't in the original game that people always wanted to go, like certain areas of the city that you can go to. So hopefully, I mean, I saw one of my friends has already fucking, like, within a week or within a few days, or has pretty much gotten to the end game. Like, holy shit, that's huge. She must have been playing it like nonstop for pretty much all weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to buy it right yet. I'm going to wait because I have like 12 games that are sitting there waiting for me. Plus, I've got a few games that have had some major updates that I really want to try. So I'm going to hold off on Final Fantasy VII for a while and see. I mean, I've still got Outer Worlds. I've got Vampire. I've got Days Gone. I've got a bunch of games here that I've
been playing Arkham Knight to try and finish that because I never finished it.
Such
I
a
didn't
great
realize
ending.
I had barely scratched the surface of that one. So I'm in the middle of that right now. I'm about 15%
Okay.
of the way in. I just played it the other day and realized that my thumb is bothering me. The one that the chiropractor fucked up a few years ago, a couple years ago. It's been
Yeah.
acting up on me. So,
Not your gaming
well, it's
thumb.
one of them. Yeah, it's the one that controls
Oh
action. I'm
no.
making the motions right now, and it hurts. So I got to give it a few days to for some rest. I haven't really been playing that much in the way of video games, console games, but yeah, it's hurting pretty bad right now. So I either need to get a brace for it or rest it. So
Or exercise it even more.
no, it hurts, dude. It hurts a lot.
I can dig it, man. I can dig it. I remember years ago there was a funny a friend of mine. He was saying that he started dating this girl, and she goes, "Do me a favor, move your thumbs." And he goes, "Move my thumbs?" She goes, "Yeah, just move your thumbs." So he holds his thumb up, and he just kind of moves his thumb. And she goes, "Oh, thank God." And he goes, What are you talking about?" She goes, "If you can always tell a guy that plays a lot of video games, because if you ask him to do that, a lot of times they'll go like this, or they'll move their thumbs like they're playing a video game." And yeah, it's like, oh, okay. And she goes, "If you just moved your thumb, so I know you're safe." Apparently, this was a long time ago. This was before before gaming was quite the industry it is now, and quite a little more accepted. But I just thought that was really funny. It's like, he moved it like he held his hands more like he was holding an original Nintendo controller. So anyway, Final Fantasy VII remake, and it's truly, honestly, too. This game is the first true remake, too. I mean, we've seen games remastered, but they're usually not. They're not a remake like the Baldur's Gate remasters, which were great. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and they remastered them for modern day computers. We've seen games remastered from one system, like we were talking about earlier, to like from the PS3 to the PS4 or whatnot, like Last of Us or LA Noire, things like that, Skyrim, that were brought up to a newer system. But this is the first really true remake of a classic video game that we're seeing, and remakes in the movie industry are so common. It's almost like, okay, well, cool, maybe not cool, maybe cool, whatever. It's just so commonplace we don't even really think about it as much. But the remake of a classic video game, this could open up a lot of things for nostalgic gaming. Because that's the thing. Nostalgic gaming is big these days still. I mean, people are still, doing those, the various, like, ROMs for old classic games, where you can build a little gaming system that has like 1,000 video games in it and stuff like that. And, or playing older games, or even games that are styled in older ways, like 8-bit games and stuff. 8-bit gaming came back. It's not really a thing for me. I even games that I really love, I don't always tend to go back and play a lot. Like Skyrim and Fallout 4 were one of the few games of recent years that I've actually been, pulled out again and played more because I'm like, I really loved them. There's a few games, I bought LA Noire and I bought The Last of Us for my PS4, even though I had them for my PS3, because one, LA Noire, I'd love for Stella to see that game. I think she'd really enjoy it. And The Last of Us, because the first one was so... the sequel coming out and the first one was so amazing.
Yeah,
kind of want to play it.
I should probably get back into Last of Us because I haven't really played much of it. I hit
so
one
good,
point.
man.
It was one of those things where I hit a certain point, kept getting killed, and got frustrated and said, fuck it. And
it's a hard... It's a difficult game. It's definitely a difficult game, but it's worth it. But anyways, I think if with the success of Final Fantasy VII Remake... I think we could see potentially a lot of games being remade from certain eras. I mean, like Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is a unbelievably popular game. People have been playing it for decades. They keep, it keeps getting remastered, and you can get it on all these different systems and stuff. I got my buddy Anthony, who we had on the show. I believe he had said he's bought Chrono Trigger on every platform he's been able to, because it's such a great game. So I could see that being remade.
So we're not getting enough remakes in Hollywood and reboots that we're going to have to start seeing them in video games as well.
Maybe so. Everything old is new again, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I as long as they're done well, as long as they are done and with a respectful nod to the existing, to what came before, I think it could be great. And so what we have to what we have to get away from is taking advantage of it, though. Like, making shit just for the buck. It looks to me that Final Fantasy VII, they did a really great kind of remake of this game that is very respectful to the original source material. So, it should be cool.
Yeah, this game, like I said, this game is just absolutely gorgeous, though, the little bit I've played of it. So what do you got? What do you got for us? I know you had some things you wanted to talk about.
Well, it was made official today, apparently. Was it today? Yes, today. It's Sam Raimi, famous of the Spider-Man trilogy and the Evil Dead movies, and the original Spider-Man trilogy from the early aughts. He is also a Michigan native.
I was just going to say a Michigander.
From Royal Oak. He has been confirmed that he will be directing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
That excites me.
That does. I'm very excited about it. I'm hoping that wouldn't it be great if Bruce Campbell made a cameo?
Well, he's going to have to, because he's been in every movie except for one of Sam Raimi's.
What movie was that? What was the movie that he wasn't in?
It was The Quick and the Dead. He's not in that one.
He's not in The Quick and the Dead? You'd think he would be.
What's funny is, if you read Bruce Campbell's book, If Chins Could Kill, The Confessions of a B-Movie Actor.
I haven't. I think I read like half.
I loved it.
I never finished.
I absolutely loved it.
Absolutely loved
it. But he talks about being, actually showing up, and Sam saying, "Hey, I need you. I really need you. Go to wardrobe," and they get him all dressed up into the outfit that he needs and everything like that. He has this whole huge fight scene in the bar, and then Sam cut it.
Oh, so he was in the film. He just wasn't in the film.
It's also the only movie that the car's not in.
Yeah, but no, actually, I heard
it actually is.
I heard the car. It is there, but it was in like a barn.
Yeah.
It was on set, but it wasn't actually in the movie. Actually, you know what? I do. I have If Chins Could Kill, and I also have Make Love the Bruce Campbell Way, which is kind of.
I haven't read that one yet. That's one I want to read. So.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, if my copy of If Chins Could Kill is autographed. Yeah, he was at a signing at that one video store, Clausen, that was in Clausen. That one kind of family-owned video store that you could get. You could go, and it had a lot of like movies you couldn't get anywhere else. What was it called? It wasn't like Clausen Video or something, but it was, I don't know. Anyway, as I was saying, Sam Raimi, director Sam Raimi, who helmed the original Spider-Man movie trilogy, has confirmed he will direct Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, following reports from early February that he was in talks. In confirming he'll take on the project, Raimi spoke to Coming Soon about a reference he previously made to Strange in Spider-Man 2, in which the character Ted Hoffman rattles off some suggestions for naming Dr. Octopus, the movie's villain, including Doctor Strange. It says, "I loved Doctor Strange as a kid, but he was always after Spider-Man and Batman for me. He was probably at number 5 for me of great comic book characters. He was so original, But when we had that moment in Spider-Man 2, I had no idea that we would ever be making a Doctor Strange movie, so it was really funny to me that coincidentally that line was in the movie. I gotta say, I wish we had the foresight to know that I was going to be involved in the project. So it's scheduled for November 5th, 2021, theatrical release, so about 18 months away.
Sam Raimi is one of the few directors that I can actually recognize his visual style. Most directors I can't really tell. You know, they're like, oh, you can tell that this director did this, and I'm like, there's a few directors that I can tell. Usually, like if it's an M. Night movie, I know it because I'm falling asleep. If it's Sam Raimi, though, the visuals that he does are just incredible.
The steady. One of the more things he's famous for is the Steadicam shot.
Yeah, he basically invented it using wooden sawhorses and Vaseline, from what I read in the Bruce Campbell book.
Now thankfully they've perfected that technology. But the tracking. The tracking shots that he would do and through the forest and stuff like that. I've always liked Sam Raimi. I think he's a great film writer or filmmaker. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it's reflected even in like the shows he's been involved with, like Briscoe County and Hercules and Xena and things like that. You can really see those kind of things
the
there
visuals
too.
When
So
he's behind the camera are just incredible. Like one of the ones that I remember the most is Spider-Man 2, I believe it is, when Mary Jane and Peter are sitting in that diner and the taxi comes rolling through and shatters the window and Peter reacts, and there's one point where there's a big piece of glass that's spinning and you see the reflections of the characters as it spins.
Yeah, he definitely has a vision, so it's pretty great.
And then there's Quick of the Dead, when the final scene with the shootout, and there's the bang, and both of them are standing there, and you realize that the shadow on the ground has a hole in it. You can see the sunlight.
Yeah.
Which, granted, the sunlight is nowhere near the right angle for that, but still, it's a cool effect.
Still, it was a cool shot. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Quick and the Dead, I absolutely adore that Western. It's a great Western. Hell of a cast. Hackman, Sharon Stone, Leo DiCaprio, Russell Crowe. Yeah, there's some really great, and not just great actors, but great characters. You know, there's some really, really great characters in that movie. So, so that's pretty cool. Moving on as well, we've got they just revealed ABC has set the return date for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The final season, ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been announced for a May 27th debut at 10 p.m. Eastern. Picking up after the end of Season 6 back in August of 19, this 13-episode season finds Agent Coulson and his fellow agents transported back to 1930s New York City. Now, originally they were saying that Season 6 would be the end, but then I think they got to the end and they kind of went to Disney and ABC and said, listen, we really need one more season to wrap this shit up. And Disney, and they said okay.
People really responded to the last season too, and there was a lot of fan outcry that they wanted more, and so Disney actually listened. Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's really great. That's fantastic. I'm actually way behind on the show. I kind of fell away from it. I've always liked it, but I kind of fell away from it, and I've been buying the DVD set, so I'll be planning on watching it, binging it at some point. I think you can binge it on Netflix up to Season 6, I believe.
I love the characters and the character development on that show. I mean, I think they've all been fantastic.
I agree. I do too. The one thing that's always bothered me about it is I think they strayed too far away from the cinematic universe.
That's my issue too. I wish they would come back to the cinematic universe and meld them back in.
Exactly. It would have been fun. It would have been really cool to see maybe some of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. occasionally show up in one of the movies, just a cameo, you know.
Even if Coulson's death still had to be, a secret type of thing, where him coming back was a secret. if that was the case, that's fine. But at least have Daisy show up or Mac or somebody.
Exactly.
Or even have Bobby show up. Because
for sure.
See Mockingbird show up in
Mockingbird. Yeah, I mean she was a straight up superhero. I mean she was. So I would love to see some of those characters. I mean, they could have showed up in Endgame, and I don't know, just like a bunch of SHIELD agents converge as well on the final battle.
And
just fly in, and I mean that would have been fucking cool. I don't see why they couldn't have. I mean, it's not like these actors are paid the same level as some of the movie stars. I mean, they could have. I don't know. So yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, yes, the show has dealt with the fallout of the movies here and there, but they have also been largely their own creature, and I'd still like to see.
In the last few years, they've really gotten away from even dealing with the fallout.
Yeah, exactly. Like when SHIELD pretty much ended in Winter Soldier, they dealt with it. When in Thor: The Dark World, when the elves showed up in London, they dealt with it. But there really wasn't a whole lot after that, So, and then as well, the shit that happens on the show is very rarely addressed in the movies, and I think that's a shame too. Did some really cool stuff in the movies, like when they dealt with the Inhumans, and I don't know, just and more stuff with Hydra, and I just think they could have done some really cool stuff. So. What are you gonna do? I mean, we don't write this shit, so unfortunately. What else? We've also, let's see here. So coming up, the new slate on DC Universe streaming. There is they've revealed some new stuff that's going to be put up. As of May, in early May, new to watch, a bunch of episodes of Harley Quinn, the new season of Harley Quinn. Oh my god,
this season is so fucking brilliant already.
I haven't started it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Let's see, Watchmen, the movie The Watchmen, is going to Zack Snyder's magnum opus. Personally, I loved The Watchmen. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was great. Really was great. So Watchmen and Watchmen Under the Hood is both Friday, May 1st. Like I said, additionally, episodes of Harley Quinn, and then Stargirl, the pilot, is on May 18th, and then the second episode is May 25th of Stargirl. And then, those Fridays, those are all on Fridays, and some of these are, excuse me, Stargirl is Monday, and then Harley Quinn is on Fridays. So, and then it also revealed a bunch of stuff to be read, a bunch of new stuff to be read. Newer comics, actually, from 18. Some stuff, a lot of stuff from 18. A few things going back to 16 and a few and whatnot over the last few years. They're slowly just kind of adding more and more stuff, and which I think is cool, but at the same time, I think they could be speeding it up a bit.
Yeah, I just saw that one of the comics I want to read is out there. At least the first 4 issues of it are, and that's The Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
I want to read the Metal Gods too.
Oh, Metal?
Metal, yeah.
Yeah, Metal. Yeah, Metal was really, really cool. There's also, well, speaking of Metal, there is a miniseries coming up that is the sequel to DC Metal. DC Metal was a miniseries from last summer, I think it was, or it was either last summer or the summer. I think it was the summer before, and it was one of those kind of reality shifting continuity shifting kind of storylines. It was meant to bring some continuity together and fix some certain issues, and it was really, really cool. And it was drawn by Greg Capullo, amazing artist. and it was written by Scott Snyder, who's this really, really amazing writer. He's got a sequel coming out now called Death Metal, and it's not so much about like like the first one was meant to evoke, like, it was all about the like metals, like not so much magic, but like special metals in the DC universe and how they kind of tied things together, particularly nth metal, which is largely connected to Hawkman, and but it was really, really cool how they did it, and some other stuff that was just some really great storytelling. And then this thing is called Death Metal, and some of the images that I've seen are very kind of death metal-ish, like the kind of thing you'd see on the cover of an album,
Well, isn't
of a metal
they
album.
like show Batman like with ripping on a guitar? Just
Yeah, there's one like that. There's another one where he's on this like badass like skeletal motorcycle, and there's another one where Superman he's got long hair, and he's got like his boots are knee high, and it just looks like he stepped out of a 80s metal band, and Wonder Woman is also at the forefront on this one, and she's all kinds of badass. So it deals a lot with the multiverse. It was the series that introduced the Batman That Laughs. It dealt with the dark multiverse, which is like the DC universe is split into like a multiverse of 52 Earths. And then the dark multiverse are negative Earths, negative numbers. So there was a bunch of characters. Basically, the Batman Who Laughed had gathered Batmen from other dimensions where Batman had stolen the power of the Flash, and another one where he had basically become cyborg, and another one where he had become Doomsday, and it's a bunch of different Bat characters. Another one where it was an Earth where the genders were reversed, so instead of Batman it was Batwoman, and she had become aquatic and had warred with Aquaman and stuff like that. And it was, some really, really cool concepts. And so Dark Knight's Death Metal #1. The release date has been changed because of the coronavirus. Almost everything is in to be determined kind of territory. But they're saying the purpose of the whole story, this whole story is to sort out continuity and the universe and give something fun, bright, and coherent on the other side. So the Metal miniseries created some continuity, not issues, but kind of tied in some interesting continuity stuff and adjusted some things. Now, Death Metal is going to tighten it up even more, apparently. So it should be really cool stuff. And some fun things that they're going to tie it in with some fun things that have been going on in the Justice League and in the DC universe. So DC had planned a lot of continuity fixing in May, it seems, as the concurrent Generation 1 shots aimed to retcon the company's modern continuity as well. So it looks like they're really trying to kind of tighten things up and make things more reader-friendly. So we'll see. That should be fun. So that was something else I was going to talk about, too. Also, getting away from comics a little bit, we also saw a bunch of new stuff come out of Hollywood, a bunch of new images for the new Dune movie. Now, a lot of people are really excited about this. Denis Villeneuve, I think is how you say it, is the director, and he's doing a new adaptation of Dune. They've got an incredible cast. Timothée Chalamet is playing Paul Atreides. You've got let's see, Jason Momoa is in it, I believe, as Gurney Halleck. He's let's see, I'm trying to see, there was a picture, well, there's a group shot, but anyway, Oscar Isaac, he's playing Duke Leto Atreides. Zendaya is playing Chani, who is eventually the concubine of Paul Atreides. They're doing some really cool stuff. I read an interview about how, let's see what we've got. Yeah, excuse me. Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Dave Bautista, Stellan Skarsgård, Charlotte Rampling, Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, and Jason Momoa. That's a pretty awesome cast. you ask me. He's also the director has expanded the roles of certain characters that didn't get a lot in the original movie that was made back in '84. They're also splitting this story into two movies as opposed to one, which was probably one of the bigger mistakes that Lynch made in the movie in the 80s. It was just, there's so much story to tell to try and squeeze it into one, even an extended movie. The movie was long. It was like 3 hours, which is really long for a... well, I think actually the director's cut is like 3 hours. I think the movie that we saw in theaters wasn't quite that long. But there was a lot of criticism about that movie and everything, about it being hard to understand, and it wasn't as successful as they would have liked it to have been, for sure. And so Vanity Fair has done several big articles on it apparently, and it's looking really, really cool so far. I'm actually quite excited about it. I'm quite excited. It is scheduled to hit theaters this year, December 18.
Okay.
So, pretty awesome. So those are the big hits that I kind of wanted to talk about. Man, there was something else I was going to bring up, and now I can't remember. I did mention that I'm playing Mass Effect Andromeda, correct? Yes. Not this show, but I like last show. I'm really getting into it. It's a cool show. It's a cool game. It gives us a lot of different environments because you have to go to different planets and you have to set up. You're setting up basically outposts on these planets for humans to colonize. So like you go to an arid planet that's kind of a desert, but more. Well, it's an arid planet, not quite a desert planet, not like Dune, honestly. Did you want to say anything about the Dune movie?
I saw some pictures of it. That's all I saw, and it looks really cool, actually.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be pretty great. But anyway, so yeah, the first planet you go to is an arid planet. The next one you go to is an ice planet. Basically, it's eternal winter. And then you go to another planet that's a jungle. So it's giving you a lot of different environments to kind of go through, and I'm enjoying it so far. I think there is a lot of grind, and but it's like a lot of the BioWare games of that time, a lot of the Mass Effect games, there's a lot of really cool dialogue options, and flirting. I mean, you can flirt with the male characters, the female characters. It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever gender you choose, you can develop relationships with them. There's some really, really cool stuff. A lot of fun things, and I mean, there's driving element. You get in this big 6-wheel vehicle that you drive around the environments, and there's times you got to go back to the different planets. You don't just go and leave it. You got to end up going back, and then there's the environment in the big space station, and the environment walking around in your smaller ship that you take around. And I don't understand why people had a problem with this game. I'm enjoying it so far. So
cool.
How was that? Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm playing Batman right now. That's the main one. I've actually gotten back into Star Wars: The Old Republic a little bit. Been playing that quite a bit now that I've got some more time because I don't have so much other stuff going on, and playing through the last couple of expansions that they've put out that I never got to play through. Got the Bounty Hunter already up to max level, but haven't finished the storyline yet. For the last expansion. I'm in the middle of that. Was taking some time to level up some of my other characters because I've got so many characters on there and they're all different types. I've got basically light side and dark side for almost every single character class.
Right on. I'm actually trying to get back into playing City Heroes a little bit more too, so get back into, because I like having a lot of characters to try out the different kinds of power sets and stuff. So yeah. Here's something I wanted to talk about a little bit. This is kind of cool. So during this quarantine, we've seen a lot of businesses are being affected, particularly small business. There are a lot of small businesses that operate in real tight budgets, and a business closes for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. That could potentially put them out of business, and they're saying that a lot of businesses could potentially not survive this. One of those is comic book shops, close to my heart. And there's this movement that's going on in the comic book industry, or in particular in the shop industry, of trying to do what they can to support the shops. And apparently there's over 100 comic book creators have joined forces to raise money for comic retailers. So what they're doing, using the hashtag Creators for Comics, over 100 creators are coming together to raise money to help comic book retailers suffering from lost business due to coronavirus. They'll use a Twitter auction format to raise money for the Book Industry Charitable Foundation, BINC, with auctions running from April 15th through April 20th. That's tomorrow. Creators named as participating include Kelly Sue DeConnick. I mean, a lot of these people, unless you're a comic fan, you may not necessarily recognize them, but some of them are big, huge names. A lot of them are really huge names, and a lot of them are like classic creators too, like people that have been in the business for 30, 40 years. So Kelly Sue DeConnick, Marv Wolfman, he was one of the guys that created the Teen Titans. Jeff Johns, one of the biggest writers in the industry. Joe Hill, Scott Snyder, Shannon Hale, Tom King, who's been writing Batman for the last few years. Jean Luen Yang, Danielle Page, Jason Aaron, Mark Guggenheim, Brian Lee O'Malley. Mark Guggenheim actually does a lot of writing for television now, too. Gabriel Piccola, Gail Simone, Brad Meltzer. Brad Meltzer is also a novelist. Ryan North, Paul Levitz. Paul Levitz is, he was the publisher for DC for a long time, or the president, I can't remember. Jeff Lemire, David Mack, Greg Rucka, G. Willow Wilson, James Tynion IV, Cassandra Clare, Mariko Tamaki, and many more expected to join in. The auction effort is spearheaded by creators Cami Garcia, Brian Michael Bendis, Gwenda Bond, Sam Humphries, and Phil Jimenez. Print is the heart of comics and books, and the brick-and-mortar stores that keep print alive are struggling, so I reached out to other concerned creators and friends, said Garcia in a statement. They enthusiastically agreed that we needed to help. These stores have supported us throughout our careers. Now is our chance to support them. Comic shops and indie bookstores are at the heart of our industry and our neighborhoods. The phenomenal response we've seen so far from creators makes it clear that comic book stores are the foundation of our industry, but we can't do this alone. Anyone who loves comic stores can join us and create an auction of their own. Money raised through the auctions will go directly to BINC, which is accepting applications from local comic shops and bookstores for financial assistance now. In the words of the organizers, creators / people run their own individual auctions by tweeting them with the hashtag Creators for Comics. Auctions / tweets will be posted anytime on or after Wednesday 15th. April 15th, Twitter users scroll through the auction items using the hashtag and reply to individual item threads to place their bids until the auction ends on the 20th. The winning bidder donates directly to BINC and provides the donation receipt to the auctioneer to claim their item. DC Chief Creative Officer and Publisher Jim Lee and Image co-founder Rob Liefeld have already begun auction efforts with proceeds from Lee's auctions going to BINC and Liefield's going directly to comic book shops. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, they are basically, some of these artists are every day drawing something and putting it up for auction, and that's pretty incredible. That it's really showing how amazing the response has been, the support and everything for these kind of for the help that people need.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to support as many of the local small businesses as I can that I have supported over the years. I'm still trying to support them now. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite bottle shops for beer and cider and all that stuff, 8 Degrees Plato, used to be there in Ferndale. Right. They've now moved to Detroit. But Tim, the owner, just posted a thing yesterday saying, hey, we're going to try something. We're going to do curbside delivery on Friday from 4 till 8. Email me your order. I'll have it ready. Pull up. We'll get it loaded up for you. You can pay for it. Boom, on your way. So I actually hit awesome. Up today saying, hey, because the keg that I've got, one of the kegs that I've got, the beer keg in the kegerator is almost out.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, I want to get another keg. So, what can I get? Oh, well, I'll see if Tim's got anything in stock. And he's like, I can order what you want. So I'm going to get a keg of Two Hearted. And now that I'm thinking about it, I should have told him Lighthearted. Go with the see if he can get the Lighthearted beer. But yeah, and so I'm going to try and help support him because honestly, he's a great guy. And I love going in and just sitting around talking beer with him.
And I love going to my shop and talking comics with the people, that I mean, honestly, the comic shop I've been going there over 20 years, and they're old friends of mine. They're they're kind of family to me. So, we gotta do our best to support these brick and mortar shops, particularly if you're, if you've gotten joy out of the shop and supported them all this time. I mean, it's a two-way street, of course, but this is when those businesses are gonna need the help. So just as a follow-up here, I'm seeing Jim Lee has been doing. It's the 60-day 60 sketch challenge basically, and he just drew the Red Death, which was one of the Batmen from Dark Knight, or from the Dark Knight's Metal,
the Flash one,
where. Right. The Flash one, right. And so he did a drawing like that. The way he's running his things is all the auctions last 3 days on eBay. Each auction winner not only gets the original 9x12 sketch, but he or she also gets to select the next DC character Lee will draw, so long as it isn't a character he's already sketched. So that's pretty cool. The series of sketches, included one by Rafael Albuquerque, have now generated well over $100,000 in bids combined before auction fees, with the Red Rain Batman topping out the bidding so far at $17,300.
Damn.
For a 9x12
sketch.
9x12 inked. Well, it's a full drawing. It's inked. It's a full drawing. But yeah, $17,000. That's amazing.
I don't have that kind of money.
Somebody. You're right. Well, that's somebody that's looking for a tax write-off. That's for sure. So that's pretty awesome. Sorry about that. On March 18th, BINC stepped up to specify its continued support of comic book retailers in light of the coronavirus pandemic. So, all right. Well, guys, please support your local comic shop and local independent bookstores because they need the help too. So,
all right, well, I think that's going to do it for tonight.
All right. I think, that sounds great. It's, I'm really glad that we were able to get the technical aspect of this together.
Yeah, this
relatively
was the smoothest run show so far.
Yeah, we did. Because last week, guys, I don't know if you remember, but he and I started a little late because we had a tough time getting the technical aspect together, but this time it's worked out great, so thankfully. Yeah. And we didn't have any technical glitches on the stream.
I didn't see your face going like this time. Just
I think we had a better signal today. So anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and tell all your friends about us and about the new Twitch stream. Guys, we are available on all the places you can find quality podcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on iTunes, we're on the Google Play Store, we're on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, radio.com, and of course, you can download and stream our shows at nerdswithalcoholshow.com.
And you can find us on most of the social medias. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show, Twitter at Drinking Nerds, Instagram Drinking Nerds. You can find us on Untappd. Just search for Drinking Nerds, send us a friend request, and we'll get you added on there. And we're now on stream. We are now streaming at 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights on Twitch, just Drinking Nerds. And you can also find us if you search for Drinking Nerds on YouTube. We're putting the videos up there. They go up on Thursdays, just like when the podcast releases.
Exactly. So if you don't have a Twitch stream or you don't want to jump into wade into that pool just yet, you can find us on YouTube. All right.
All right. Well, I think on that note.
Until
next time. Sláinte.
Hey, that's a pretty good one. Have
a good week, everybody.
Good.
la la la.